Let's now turn our attention to a country that many also call China's puppet or China's client state, and another country that has been a perennial headache for India. And of course, I'm talking about Pakistan. This country continues to implode. It's now heading yet again towards default. And yeah, I know you've heard me saying Pakistan heading for default for a long time, but it's been continuing. Now, Pakistan needs to pay international lenders billions and billions of dollars over the next 3.5 years. That's the figure out there. That's the amount it has to repay its creditors. But Islamabad only has $3 billion left in forex reserves. What happens in the next 3.5 years is anybody's guess. What we can tell you, though, is Pakistan's friends from the Muslim world who have been keep holding its back, supporting Pakistan for a long period of time, they are now slowly but surely starting to abandon Islamabad. Earlier this week, we learned that Saudi Arabia has decided not to provide Islamabad with any interest-free loans. Now, if this was not bad enough, you should listen to what else has happened this week. Kuwait asked Pakistan to start paying for the diesel it imports for the Gulf country. Wouldn't it not pay it before? Yeah, of course it would, but not up front. You see, in 2000, Pakistan and Kuwait struck a deal. This deal extended a credit line facility to Pakistan, allowing it to import diesel from Kuwait and pay the Gulf country later in installments. 23 years later, Kuwait has changed its mind, or you could say reality has caught up with it. Kuwait is now asking Pakistan for cash up front if it wants to buy diesel, and it doesn't stop there. Kuwait also wants Islamabad to clear previous dues as soon as possible. And how many dues are we talking about? Well, the amount runs into millions and millions of dollars, a minimum of $120 million. It could be more. Where will Pakistan get that kind of money from? Earlier this week, there are reports that Pakistan has managed to betray its all-weather friend China by sending some weapons to Ukraine. These reports were published around the same time that Xi was in Moscow. Now, China may well still bail Pakistan out, but that, of course, is the last straw that Pakistan is clutching on. China, bail us out, help us out. Now, what about the International Monetary Fund? Earlier this week, there were whispers that the IMF had attached nuclear program-related strings to the bailout package. The Washington-based lender then went on to deny this, as did Pakistan's Finance Minister Ishaq Dar, which led some analysts to point out that the very fact that the IMF was categorically refuting the nuclear angle only means there must have been some fire for that smoke. Now, there's been a major delay in the IMF bailout that Pakistan has been banking on for a while now. $1.1 billion is what Pakistan is expecting from the IMF. Those funds are part of the $6.5 billion bailout package that the IMF had approved in 2019. This $1.1 billion tranche was supposed to have been dispersed in November 2022. It's now March 2023 and there's no money in sight. The only thing that you can see are friends walking away from what's looking like a collapsing country. And if all of this wasn't bad enough, what are the actual headlines and the pictures that are coming from Pakistan? Is there concerted action to try and do something about the economic situation? Try and solve the crisis that is upon Pakistan. Talk to friends, talk to allies, even talk to enemies. Try and do something to save yourself from imminent bankruptcy. Is that what Pakistan is worrying about? No. These are the pictures. These are the images. These are the headlines. Let's try and arrest Imran Khan. Let's try and figure out a solution politically as to what the crisis is there. Let's have protests on the street. Let's have drama. Let's have massive headlines coming across political instability. Anybody looking at this entire situation would be baffled, would be scratching their head and would be saying, what exactly is Pakistan up to? And to try and understand what exactly is happening in Pakistan, we're now being joined by Dr. Jamil Khan, who's been ambassador of Pakistan to Malta, to Libya, and to the UAE. Dr. Khan, thank you so much for joining us. You know, when people are looking at the situation in Pakistan, on the one hand, there's movement towards a default. You've got close allies of Pakistan for decades, like Saudi Arabia, saying, we're not going to give you any more interest-free loans. You've got Kuwait saying, we're not going to give you diesel. And yet, all the attention in Pakistan seems to be on political dramas and what's happening with Imran Khan. What is happening?
That's right. In fact, we have a political instability. There is no doubt about it. And the concerned leadership of various parties, they're going to have their multi-party conference to discuss and decide how to approach this political instability. We have seen a little change in the attitude of the opposition party, which is Imran Khan and which is PTI, just about 3, 4 days ago, in which for the first time PTI chairman Imran Khan has agreed to attend the multi-party conference, and that seems to have broken the ice. And in the coming few hours and few days, I expect that this move might as well pave the way to bring the heat a little down, or the political instability, which is causing economic issues also to the country. So that might as well start straightening up in the coming days, if not weeks.
Look, Dr. Khan, I have absolutely no doubts. Yeah, Imran Khan may be doing his bit and he's being intransigent and he's also whipping up sentiments. All of that is fine. But if you're looking at it from the point of view of the government of Pakistan and by the people who are running the country, you have to ask whether this is really the time to try and arrest Imran Khan or to have a political crisis, or should the government not be trying to bring the heat down a little bit on political instability and try and solve the economic issues that are bringing the country to the brink of default, on the brink of bankruptcy?
Once it comes to the law of the land, um, uh, in a country like ours and in this region, or even in some other regions of the world, there are some political motivation behind certain cases, but there are cases which are very genuine as well. Now, that is up to the court to decide about it. But getting arrested by a political leader, as in India, Pakistan, and in any of these countries, including the West. Now, Trump is all set for facing the prosecution. Whether he's arrested or not is a different thing. So I think the political leaders should not really, and they have the platform available. Imran Khan, the chairman of the PTI, has been given relief by the courts, and genuinely, I would say and then even if he's arrested, not a big deal. All other political leaders in this country and elsewhere, from time to time, they have faced the prosecution. So not so that to me is not a very big deal. But yes, how much turmoil, how much problem does it cause preceding succeeding the arrest? That is a different thing.
Look, Dr. Jamil, you're right. It does happen in a multitude of countries and in South Asia. I mean, even in India, you're having the opposition today going to the High Court, to the Supreme Court and saying, look what's happening and we're being targeted. So political instability happens. The rule of law is an important question. But India is not in the sort of a situation that Pakistan is. Very few countries are in the sort of an economic crisis that Pakistan is. So that's why, again, I'm coming back to that basic question about whether the focus should not be on trying to solve the economic crisis as opposed to having political drama.
Well, there are about 73 countries at the moment which have been hit directly and which has been impacted and affected around the world post this toxic geopolitical situation.
Yeah.
And obviously, the pandemic had already caused huge damage to the economy of these 73 countries. And that is the figure I'm quoting to you, the post G20 and Paris Club meeting. So the Pakistan, yes, there is no doubt that Pakistan should have been able to improve its economy, should have been able to improve its political instability, should have been able to improve so many other aspects which could have really made it really sustainable. Now, having said so, Pakistan has got 500 million just about a couple of days ago, another about tranche from China. Now, IMF negotiation is still going on. Pakistan has met almost all the conditions of IMF, except what you were mentioning in your intro. Perhaps they need some kind of a written undertaking by the friendly countries who have been bailing out in past and who are all lined up to bail out, including Saudi Arabia and UAE. My own understanding about the current development is that since IMF has now almost finalized the staff level negotiation, and the Saudi Arabia has recently reset, like United States has reset its foreign policy, Saudi Arabia has also reset its foreign policy. Very recently, they have not been able to give the loan the way they've been giving to Jordan, to Egypt, and to so many other countries, including Turkey. What they have asked is that interest-free loan probably would be hard for them, and they are now trying to be competitive in terms of the world creditors, and they want to toe that same line. And Pakistan should not shy away with that. If there is some interest levied on that, whatever loan is the Saudi Arabia is going to give. In fact, 3 billion plus one. They had already given their inclination about it. So that seems to be just again coming very shortly, and all these things are going to materialize. And by the way, there are a lot of talks about this problem of economy in Pakistan. There's so many countries are sailing in the same boat. Our neighboring country, your neighboring country, bordering country, Sri Lanka, has started now improving its issue of economy. They have got the first tranche of IMF, and they have brought certain reforms. So Pakistan is no exception. They have to bring in the reform which has been suggested by IMF for their own interest.
Okay, so let's just turn our attention specifically to the economy. We've heard what Saudi Arabia is saying, we've heard what Kuwait is saying, even China expressing a certain amount of reservations in bailing out. We're hearing what the IMF is saying. I'm going to ask you a direct question. If friendly countries are not going to be stepping up to Pakistan's support right now and actually providing a bailout, is there a real risk that Pakistan is going to go bankrupt? We saw Sri Lanka flirting with bankruptcy. Is Pakistan going to go bust very soon?
There are certain economists, they are giving their comments on those lines, but the other group of economists, they feel that Pakistan would sail through with the new reforms which they have just brought in on the suggestion of the IMF. That is one. And secondly, the friendly countries have not refused altogether, and it has never been in the past like that. So it appears that friendly countries, in view of the latest geopolitical development, which happened just about 7 8 days ago, which is Chinese mediation and Iran and Saudi Arabia again establishing their diplomatic relations. So if we keep that in our mind, and if we keep our SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, of which India is a member, and China and this entire bloc, in my own view and in my own analysis, I don't think the friendly countries would totally refuse that and drag their feet, because Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, or even UAE, as we all know, the kind of relation we've been maintaining, and in past the way they've been coming for the rescue of Pakistan, my own analysis is that it's just a matter of just days, if not weeks, that we will have this breakthrough. And my own analysis is that Pakistan, now that the leadership, the government, and the PDM government, they have started tightening their belt, it appears that they would be able to save themselves from that situation.
All right.
So I'm quite affirmative about it, and quite positive that they would be able to pull out of this the problem until the political instability further drags down and further goes down. Then in
Okay.
that case, situation would be precarious.